Stamp with Teah. I am Teah Woodward, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Vancouver, Washington in the United States. And I have a couple of really cute projects to share with you today. But before I do, there's a few pieces of information I need to share with you because today's kind of a big day with Stampin' Up! We're having a 24-hour stamp sale, and it is most of the stamp sets that are in this annual catalog are 15% off. The sale only happens once a year. This particular sale, there's obviously lots of sales all year long. Let's see, let me pull my notes a little closer to me. So it's a 24-hour sale, 15% off of select stamps only from the annual catalog. The description to this video will have my online store. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, there will be a link to my store in there so that you can jump on and take a look at what's on sale. The best way to see that is when you go to stampinup.com. There's a menu across the top. I think there's 4 different options, and one of them is specials. If you click on that, a drop-down menu will show up. There's only 4 or 5 items on this drop-down menu, and one of them is stamp sale. So you're going to click on that. It's going to show you all of the stamps that are on sale. It shows you the original price, and then it shows you the sale price right next to it. So you don't have to do any math. You will already know. Okay, so that is one piece of information. The other is during the month of September, Stampin' Up! Is having weekly deals, and the weekly deals have been refreshed. They were refreshed yesterday. The way to find that is to also go to specials, and in the drop-down menu it will say September weekly deals, and it will only pop up the items that are on sale. I've already put mine in my cart. I suggest you do the same. Matter of fact, both of these are while supplies last, just so you know. Then we have another promotion going on right now. It's called Perfect Partners, and there are 6 stamp sets that existed that were just stamp sets that did not have matching dies. During the month of September, those stamp sets have coordinating dies. Those stamp sets are Apple Blossoms. The stamp sets are Apple Harvest. The dies are Apple Blossoms. The Fresh Cut Flowers stamp set has a now coordinating set of dies. Playful Piggies, they coordinate with this Birthday Piggy bundle. There's Trimming the Tree, which I've got, and that's what I'm demonstrating on Monday. Then there are the Waterfall Canyon stamp set with coordinating dies, and there's a ton of dies in that set. Well, there's a ton of dies in all of these. And then there's Yeti to Party. So those are going on through the end of September. And with that, I am going to go ahead and turn my camera down. Let me just move a couple things out of the way. Exhausting. Just to get through those items. All right, I'm going to turn my camera down now. And let's see if I appear to be straight. Here's my host code. All right, so here are the 2 cards, and then there's a third project that is a gift bag with tag. So for today, I am demonstrating the Bewitching bundle, which is a stamp set and punch. And you'll notice there's no sentiments, so I've pulled in sentiments from some other areas, but I will go over all of that with you. So let me set these aside, and we're going to start with this one that says, "You're my bestie." Bring over my project box. Let's see, we'll set that over here. There's so many things to have ready to go. Okay, so we're going to start with a card base that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that right now. All right. Then I have the front of my card, the front of my card, the inside of my card, some scraps. Okay, so, goodness, let's empty that out. Let's set that aside. I just don't have enough room for everything to be on here. I am going to start off by using a blending brush and Parakeet Party. And I'm going to take my card front, my blending brush, and my Parakeet Party is really, really juicy, so I have to be very careful about knocking off my extra ink. And I'm going to come in starting at the corner, and I am just adding color all the way around the perimeter. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my inner card message liner. And this is quick, it's just around the perimeter. So what this does is this will create a little bit of a focal point that I'm leaving white in the center. And I am pretty happy with how that turned out. This is going to be, after I've done some stamping on this, this will be matted with some Parakeet Party. I'm going to go ahead, since I've already got my blending brush and my ink out, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to my message liner. I saw the cutest thing earlier today. I had to run an errand, and when I did, so we live in an apartment complex, and there was a young man sitting on teenage age, sitting on the curb in front of my husband's parking spot, and he had a poster board, and he was using stick-on letters to create a board to ask his, I'm going to assume girlfriend, to homecoming, to the homecoming dance. And it was cute. It was cute. All right, just a little bit, didn't need a lot. I just wanted my inside to match my outside, and you'll see me do that on the other card as well. I will be using a blending brush on that, except I will be using a mask to create the edges. All right, I can close up my Parakeet Party. Set my message liner aside. Yep, making sure I've got the right one here. Okay, so I'm going to use, you can see here, I'm using the same stamp for both hats and the same stamp for both sets of shoes. There's only one set of shoes. There's 3 different hats. I'm using this hat on the gift tag, this hat on the birthday card, and this hat on the friendship card. So one of the things that I'm going to do different on this card than I did on my original card. On my original card, I used a die to cut out the "You're my bestie," but on this card, I'm going to stamp it right on here. So I'm going to start off by stamping my shoes, which I have on a block right here. I am using Starry Sky. Which is like a bright, bright blue or a slightly purpley blue. Now, I have some ink around the edges here, and I'm going to want to be careful not to rock my stamp, or I'm going to end up with an aura, and I'll have to start this piece all over again because these are being stamped right on the front of the card. So with any luck, oh, I did end up with an aura anyway, but you know what? The hat's going to be right there. And then the second set of shoes. Oh, I didn't come over far enough. Well, rats, rats, and rats. I'm going to have to start over. Boo hiss. And it's showing through, so I have to cut another piece. Really boo hiss. But that's real life, right? And I didn't really care for how this one had stamped anyway. Let me try this again. But I do need a piece of white. So got a new piece of white. I'm going to cut it up. My cutting paper trimmer is right here to the side. I'm going to double check my size though, because I've already got my mat cut, right? So this is 4 by 5 1/4. All right, let me try that again. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my shoes first. And then I'll come back in with my blending brush. There we go. I just needed a little bit more room. There we go. That will work. I'm going to clean off my stamp with my Simply Chamois. And I'll be using that on the birthday card as well. The same shoes. All right. Now would be a good time. Well, actually, yeah, now would be a good time for me to go ahead with the blending brush again. And see how quick I can do this. And then I'll stamp my "You're My Bestie." And I got that from the Best Butterflies bundle. I'll show you that stamp. But I really wanted a couple of witches on one card. That would be kind of fun and frivolous. And So I told you about the stamp sale that's taking place today. I've told you about the weekly deals. I told you about the perfect partners. Those are all things that are taking place in September. There is another event coming up, and that is World Card Making Day is on October 1st, Saturday, October 1st. Excuse me. And Stampin' Up! Is having an event, excuse me, that you can register for. It's a free event, but the reason, sorry, I had to take a drink, but the reason that you would register is so that you receive any like updates regarding the event. Okay. Anyway, that is on, if you go to the stampinup.com website, it'll pop right up. It's one of the banners across the top. All right, so here I'm going to use You're My Bestie, and I'm getting that from the Best Butterflies, and it's right here. So this is a photopolymer stamp set, and I'm stamping that in Poppy Parade. And of course it's crooked. I'm going to find a way, well, I'm going to find a way to live with that this time. It could be in how I apply my dots. It could be in how I tilt the hats. Okay, set that aside for a minute. It's not horribly crooked, it's just a little bit crooked. Actually, the top of it doesn't even look crooked. There might be I'm going to live with it. All right, now I'm going to stamp 2 of these hats with the polka dots. So World Card Making Day. So there's 2 things I can tell you about that. Stampin' Up! Is having an event, but before they had announced their event, I was already signed up to be a demonstrator. It's okay that there's an aura here because we're going to use a punch and that's not going to show. I was already signed up to be a demonstrator for it's still World Card Making Day, but it's through I'm going to call it a consortium of demonstrators that are presenting for 24 hours. And I'm just one of many people that are demonstrating. The theme is cultural diversity, or diversity through stamping. And I am going to be focusing on the culture of quilting and some of the culture around quilting. So I'm excited about that. I'm extremely excited about that. I love my project. It is done. It is ready to go. Just need to record my video. Everything will be pre-recorded and will be available. So if you're not able to catch everything live, that'll be okay. I'm stamping this before, or I'm punching this before I color everything in. Let's see. And then I don't know if the Stampin' Up! One will be available after the fact or not. I wouldn't want to venture to guess. But I can tell you that they are using 3 different stamp sets. And they're stamp sets I happen to love. So, all right, I am now going to take my dark Parakeet Party, and I'm going to color in my dots, and I'm going to use the light and dark on the band. So this is just on one of the hats. Oh, I should mention that I checked the inventory status report, and this bundle, the stamp set and punch, are on low inventory as of about an hour before me getting online or going live. So if you don't already have this set and you decide you want it, you might not want to hesitate. So I've just laid down, so I've used the dark Parakeet Party blending pen on the dots. I've used light Parakeet Party, and now I'm going over the light with the dark in just a few areas, just to kind of give us a little bit of dimension. And then I will go back over that with the light to blend in what I've just done. The second hat, I'm going to use Poppy Parade blending Stampin' Blends. Oh, I guess while I was at it, I should have just gone ahead and colored in the shoes. So coloring in those socks, and then the buckle. We'll be using some Wink of Stella on these as well. I'm going to go ahead and just color in these. Last I heard, it was 29 people that were presenting in the group that I'm demonstrating with. All right. And now we will color in the dots on our second hat. So I was not here on Monday. My husband and I took a long weekend, and we had originally planned on being over in Eastern Oregon for a yearly visit that we do over there. It's kind of in the mountains a little bit. And unfortunately there were wildfires, and they progressed to the point that we had to cancel that portion of our trip, because not only was the air no longer safe to breathe, but we wouldn't have been able to be out of our hotel. And most likely would not have been able to visit the areas that we usually visit. So we scrambled a little bit and thought about it, and we made the decision to go ahead and go to the coast, where we had already been once this year. But we're really glad we went. We had an excellent time. We saw whales migrating, and we just had an excellent time. It was actually warmer than when we usually go earlier in the year, so we were able to be in the water a bit more, and we took more walks. It was just a really super enjoyable time, and I was really grateful for that time with my husband, who I hear behind me. Hello, sweetheart.
Hi.
All right, I'm going to
Sorry to bother you.
my husband just showed me, so anybody who's followed me for any amount of time knows that we have a white squirrel named Frosty that we're quite fond of. And, well, we named him Frosty. He probably doesn't know his name is Frosty. And we have not seen him since May, and we knew that he was getting up in age. So we thought he was no longer with us, and my husband just showed me a picture and said that he lives. So we are extremely happy right now. That is pretty awesome. Oh my gosh, that makes me very, very happy. Wow, I had even quit keeping Frosty. We had special nuts for Frosty that we kept on our kitchen counter, and I had even quit carrying those on our counter because we were pretty sure he wasn't with us anymore. So, okay, well, now I can, yay, yay. So anyway, my husband and I were at the coast. We had a spectacular time. Like I said, my husband had never seen whales migrating before, and he got to see that. And it had, to truth be told, been a lot of years since I had seen it. We got our saltwater taffy from our favorite candy place. We visited our favorite food restaurants. It was just a really, really lovely visit. So grateful for that. All right, so I stamped those feet directly onto my card front, but I'm using dimensionals to lift the hat off of the front. So I'm going to place one hat here. Don't they look like little besties? I think they do. So then there we go. And then the card front, or the card base, will come out just a little bit beyond, so it's okay that this is overlapping. So now I have to figure, if I'm going to put a ribbon, am I still going to put it here like I did on this one where I used a die, or am I going to put it somewhere else? Something to think about. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card base while I think about what I'm going to do. Actually, guess I better make sure I don't want to wrap it around the bottom or something first. Oh, that's right. I was going to use some Wink of Stella. You know, this might not be a bad. It's a really low place to put a. Gonna have to think about that. I am going to put some Wink of Stella on here. I'm going to put it on the buckles. The other nice thing about and then I'm going to put it on the hat bands, which I probably should have done first so I didn't drag my hand through those buckles. The other nice thing about that World Card Making Day that I'm associated with, is there will be several different demonstrators from different countries that will be joining us. And so that's really cool. And because it's a 24-hour event that we're doing, you're going to be able to capture multiple lives during your time zone. Okay, that's looking rather cute. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to leave the bow off and just put my gems on there. And then I've got a cute little sentiment to put on the inside of the card too, that it's from a different stamp set. It's not even from the same stamp set that I pulled the You're My Bestie from, but I think it goes well together. All right, so that is adhered down. I am going to go ahead and put my gems on. I think I have decided not to use this ribbon. But where are my gems? Hope I didn't accidentally put them away. Oh, here they are. I found them. Okay, so for the gems, I am going to use the Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And I'm using the smallest size. And since I'm not using a bow, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, let's see. I think I'm going to put one here. What I was going to say is that I'm going to go ahead and apply more up at the top. And then just one down here. Something like that. Okay, I actually think that's quite acceptable. Set these gems aside. Now I'm going to pull over my message liner and stamp my inner message, which is oh, I must not have pre-mounted it. It is life is better with a friend like you. So the outside says you're my bestie. The inside says life is better with a friend like you. And I am going to stamp that in Starry Sky. Oh, I see why I didn't. It's because I needed to use the same block. Let me make sure I already washed that. I did. Put my You're a Bestie in the right case. You're my bestie. How cute is that? And then I am pulling the Life is Better with a Friend Like You from Peaceful Moments. I thought about, because the outside I stamped with the Poppy Parade, I thought about stamping Poppy Parade on the inside too, but then I thought, I'm using Starry Sky on the hat and feet, and so, oh, what happened here? Well, before I stamp, let's figure that out. I didn't spot that before. Let me just see if that's adhesive or... Nope. Okay, I'm going to stamp on this side, and then I will come back around with the, and do the aura. I don't know what this little flub is. I didn't spot it earlier. And this is always a little questionable about how straight you can get one of these, but let me see here. So I guess I didn't actually verbalize what I'm doing. I'm cutting a new piece. Normally I have all these pieces cut, extras cut out ahead of time. All right, I'm trying this again. Okay, it's not exactly perfect, but it's much better than the first one. So now I will get that parakeet party back out again, and sorry about that, y'all. This real life though, right? Real life. The next card, I can't wait to share that with you too. I'm using a blending brush on that, but I'm using a mask to create a background. And I think in the grand scheme of things, these actually don't take that long to do. Now, as a result of those wildfires, when my husband and I were at the coast, we ended up with a couple of very spectacular sunsets. Because the smoke in the air, the whole state of Oregon was just, is still completely covered in smoke. There we go. There's my inside of my card. And the only reason I put that aura around it was to make it match the outside of the card. Anyway, the sunsets were nice. I'm trying to think what else can I tell you? Just got tons of beautiful pictures. Okay. So that is all adhered. Now I can just put some adhesive on the back of this. You know, I'm really liking the second card much better than the first one. There we go. All right. So you're my bestie. How cute is that? Life is better with a friend like you. I'm liking this one much better than this one. Yeah, this one's just looking too fussy and too... So I am glad that I got to redo that. Okay, I'm going to move this one aside. And now we're going to make this card. And this background is created using a mask. So I'm going to set those aside, get rid of some of the things that I don't need. Get a new piece of grid paper. All right. Project kit. So we are starting again with the same dimensions of card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I will burnish that in just a bit. I'm still getting all the right pieces pulled together here. Okay, so on this one, my card front and my inner card are the same. So I am going to use, I'm going to use this Plaid Mask from the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks. These are in the annual catalog. And there are a few different patterns in here to pick from. So the best way to see those is to go on to stampinup.com and you can see each of them individually. And I have chosen this smaller plaid. There's a bigger plaid in there too. Oh, I was going to show you. Excuse me. I use Post-it tape, and now I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I just make a ring of Post-it tape to hold my cardstock in place so that it doesn't shift around on me. Then I use the Post-it tape to hold the mask in place. So I kind of just move it around until I feel like it looks like what I am accepting. Then I'm going to use my blending brush, and I am using Pumpkin Pie ink. There is one thing, no, never mind. I was going to say there's one thing I was going to do different, but I think I had actually decided not to do it different. One thing I am going to do different is, see the layout here? I have a concentration of heavier ink here, and then it's lighter here and here. I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to reverse that because I ended up with my balloons coming up to this darkened area, and I want to change the weight of my ink on that particular, this particular card front. So I'm going to start off over here and put the heavier concentration, and I'm going to cover this whole thing with ink, but I'm going to put the heavier concentration of ink in these two corners, and then it will be a light application everywhere else. So then everywhere else, I'm just going to move a little quicker and use a little lighter hand. And when I take this away, there will be a white plaid back behind it. So now I'm going to come into where I've got that heavier ink, and I am just going to blend it a little bit so it's not such a harsh line into where it fades everywhere else. And that should be good there. So this is my card front. I'm actually going to use this mask on my inner card as well, but I'm just going to use it around the edges. And here I made that, I zeroed in a little, probably a little too far. So I'm going to, on this next piece, I'm going to try to back it off just a little bit. So I can remove my mask. Look at that great looking card front. And I'm going to set that aside, and because I have everything out, I'm going to go ahead and do my inner card right now as well. And this one I wasn't as worried about having a heavier and lighter area. It'll be kind of the same all the way around. Let's see. Let me do this. And I'm just using, so I put that ring of Post-it tape on the back, and now I am using Post-it tape to hold my grid in place. And this is what I'm attempting to do, except I'm backing it off just a little bit. So there's a little bit more area to write a message. Isn't this pretty? So, story behind this card, my youngest daughter's birthday is on Halloween. So that's why I'm doing a Halloween card with a kind of a witchy theme. She's in her later 30s. Matter of fact, I do believe she'll turn 40 this year. That's definitely her later 30s, isn't it? So since I am seeing that I kind of ended up with some blotchy spots. See that here and here and here and here. So I'm going to try to do a bit of evening out in between those areas. And just a little bit more at the top here. I still ended up with, that's okay. Take my Post-it tape off of the back. And I will set this aside. Now all I have to do is rinse it off, and it'll be good to go for next time around. See, the other side of this paper is clean, so I can use that for the rest of my project. And I can close this up for a minute. And then I see that I've got quite a bit of ink on my hands, so I'm gonna use my chamois, which I cleaned off right before I started filming, before I went live. And so I'm just using that to wipe off my hands. Okay. It didn't make them look clean, but I'm not going to leave any ink on anything. All right. So back to our card front. So I used pumpkin pie for these two pieces, but I am matting them on Mango Melody just because I wanted that little brighter pop of color. I am now going to stamp these feet in black right on this card front. So pray for me. Let's see. And I'm sure that there are people out there that are going to say I'm making a mistake, but I was not able to get the feet and the hat to stamp in black very well using the Memento. I tried it over and over, and it just wasn't working for me. So I was able to get it to work well with the stays on. So that's what I'm going to be using. And what I'm going to do before I actually stamp this on, see, I've got really good coverage. So I'm going to do a little test stamp over here. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to ink that up really, really well. Just a little bit more. And I am going to stamp right over the top of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in with my pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend. And woohoo, I got lucky. Look at how great that looks. Holy man. Clean that off. I am now going to come right in with my pumpkin pie. There it is. And I'm going to use the darker of the two blends. And when I color in these socks, you're not going to see that plaid anymore. The plaid that's showing through. So what I did on my first card is I actually stamped and fussy cut the feet. There's a punch for the hat, but not for the feet. Well, the reason I decided to do a direct stamping was because I did fine cutting everything out until I got to the inside of this second toe, and it's just not natural to cut that direction. So this is going to look great. So next I am going to stamp the hat, also using the stays on. I need to change blocks or change stamps on the block. And again with the stays on. Making sure I don't have any weak spots in the ink. I don't think so. That looks pretty good to me. Let's see. I think that looks great. Going to bring in my punch and line these up. Going to grab that, excuse me, tickle in my throat. Grab my pumpkin pie again. Color in the buckle on the hat and the hat band. Like I said, I know that there's people out there that are going to say, "Ugh, what is she doing? You should not be using StazOn with Stampin' blends." But I just was not able to get the quality of black stamp that I wanted to with my Memento. I'm going to grab my color lifter. And I'm just going to, I have a couple spots that I ended up with just a little bit of extra ink, and I'm going to just push my color lifter from the white side towards those spots, and it will push the ink back in towards the hat. All right. I am now going to mat my card front on the Mango Melody. We've had great fun over the years with my daughter's birthday being on Halloween. None of them icky scary, all of them very, very fun. Costume parties for birthday parties, and I usually give her a pumpkin of some kind every year for her birthday. Decorative, of course. Well, they haven't always been decorative. Sometimes they were live. We had great, great fun over the years. So turn that over and give that a little squish. Going to use some dimensionals to place our hat in here, and I'm going to give that hat a little bit more of a tilt than it was on my original card, because everything felt very heavy to one side of the card. So I'm now going to have the top of the hat pointing towards this heavy area. I just didn't feel like my first card was as balanced as it should have been. I know better. This is just a cute little whimsical set. There's another cute Halloween set. I didn't get it. I thought this one was plenty for what I needed to do. The third project that I'm going to show you is that little treat gift bag. So I'm going to point that hat over in this direction. Okay. So now I need to grab my scrap, and I'm going to stamp 3 balloons. I just need to find my ink. I had 3 different projects. Oh, here. They were sitting underneath my matte dots. 3 different projects, and they each had a lot of parts and pieces. Normally they're all in this sort of a container sitting right here all lined up, but this time everything was a bit bigger. Okay, so here's my balloon. So I want to tell you where I got this balloon from. I got this balloon from the Celebrate with Tags set. See, it's right here. And it has a matching die that will cut it out. And the name of these dies are the Celebration Tag dies. These are in the July through December mini catalog. But I just needed a balloon because this was supposed to be a fun little birthday card. So, oh, and I'm using Gorgeous Grape. for 2 of the balloons, and then pumpkin pie for the 3rd. I used Mango Melody earlier for my 3rd balloon, but my ink pad's almost dry. So rather than you all have to watch me go through that, making sure it gets inked up, etc., I'm switching to the more saturated color. That I know has plenty of ink because I just filled that yesterday or day before. And before I forget, I'm going to put that balloon right back in with that new stamp set. Now remember, I've had to pull all of my sentiments from different locations because of there not being any sentiments in this stamp set. Now I am going to use my Post-it tape again to make sure that that die sits exactly where I want it. I don't have a magnet board for my Stampin' Cut machine, cut and emboss machine. So I am going to cut all 3 of these balloons. I'll do one at a time. There is 1. And 2. Wait, where'd the first one go? Oh, right there. And 3. Then I'm going to use the mini glue dots to create kind of a little balloon ensemble. And putting this back so I don't lose that, since I'm using parts and pieces from all these sets, right? Okay. Mini glue dots. So something like that. And then like that. let's see, I really wanted those ties to kind of intersect more with each other. Then I'm going to put 2 dimensionals. I should go ahead and put 3. And stick those balloons kind of pointing at the other corner, like that. Kind of fun. I'm now going to attach this to the front of my card base, even though I don't have my sentiment on there yet. Going to adhere this down to the front of my card base. Let's center that. I like to use the multi-purpose adhesive because it gives me time to wiggle things into place. How cute is this? Ugh, love it. Okay, now I need to stamp my sentiment, which is happy birthday. I've pre-cut a 1/2 inch piece. I am going to stamp that in Starry Night, no, excuse me, in Gorgeous Grape. And this is always so hard to do when I'm got a camera between me and the... Let's try that again. There's a reason I cut extra strip. I did cut extra of this one. Let's see, I might, looking in the camera, you can still see it, and now it's a little bit more right underneath me, so I can... I'm going to go with this one. Just going to use my paper snips to cut off the end here. Close up my ink. Put some dimensionals on the back of this. Now I can either put my happy birthday over here, which is what I'm tempted to do, which is what I'm going to do. Whoops. Because there's a plaid, I'm obviously trying to line it up so it doesn't look crooked. All right, I just need to add my black, matte black dots. Going to use my Take Your Pick tool. And let's see, because I moved this around, I'm going to need to revisit where I think I want these at. So actually, I think I'm going to just go ahead and keep them in their original locations. Okay, please don't do that. So the matte clay had squished a little bit and gotten underneath the dot, and so it wasn't releasing it. So I need to be careful to pick up from the bottom. And don't love the placement on that one. So I could put it up closer to the hat or put it right on. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, we're gonna call it good. I am going to adhere the inner liner to the inside of the card. And now adhere this to the inside. And then the third project is just super quick. Oh, and I see what I didn't do to the front yet. Just going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella. I think I got that straight. I did. I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to this buckle. So just a little bit of sparkle. And then to these buckles down here on the shoes. And then I'm going to hit a couple spots on this balloon. And just create a little bit of shine. All right. Card number 2 is done. As I throw my Wink of Stella. So far we've created these 2 cards. And now we're going to create a gift bag. And it's super easy. These are pre-existing gift bags that we sell at Stampin' Up. So I have pre-die cut my tag. So this should go pretty quick. I do need to stamp and punch the hat, which will be, like I said, will be quick. I am going to cut me a scrap here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that I got this designer series paper with the pumpkins and the ghosts on it from the Celebrate Everything, which is a host gift, or if you have a purchase of $300 or more, it's something that you can purchase. It's in the back of the mini catalog. And in there, there's Christmas paper, Halloween paper, 4th of July paper. There's all different kinds of literally celebrate everything. So there's two that I thought would work well for Halloween. There were this black with these yellow stars, and then there were these pumpkins and ghosts. For the tag, I used the largest of the tailor-made tags. You'll notice that the back of this paper is what I've used for the tag. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere, and I'm going to change my adhesive. So I'm going to use the Seal Plus Stampin' Seal Plus. And I don't use it all the time, so I'm not bad using it, but I'm not like a pro. I'm pro enough. Centering. Then I am going to, so these are the embossed treat bags that we sell. They're in the annual catalog. Going to straighten out that crease right there. Add my Stampin' Seal to the back of this piece. And as exactly the same, just center it, top to bottom, side to side. Whoopsie. Got to open that back up. Push that crease out. So this would be if you were in a neighborhood and you knew the kids that were coming to the door, or something like that, or maybe not what you give the kids, but what you give to the parents that are walking around with the kids. This would be cute for that. Okay, so there is our enhanced bag. Super, super simple. Here's our tag. Put this in a place where you can see what I've done, so you can see how quick it is. I die cut. These are the hole reinforcements. I'm just going to use just a little bit of adhesive. I think these are intended for the flat to go up to the top, but I will go ahead because it's the angle that I already have them in my hand. And get that positioned so that it lines up with the hole. Can you see that? And I'm going to do another one on the back. And what that does is that will keep your ribbon from ripping through. I mean, if anybody gives anything a yank with paper, it's going to rip through, right? But this will keep it from ripping through even just sitting on a table. And just lining that up. I am going to put a ribbon through here that's rather large, so I definitely wanted the paper to not shred when I did that. All right, there is that part. Next, I am going to stamp the third hat, which is the one with the spider web. I am going to I'm going to go ahead and use the Memento because it's not doing a solid saturation. It's just the outline of the hat and the spider web. And there we go. Nice. I'm going to use these smoky slate Stampin' Blends to color in this hat. So I'm using the light first. To just lay down, sorry, I think my head just hit the camera. Lay down the color. And then the bottom of the hat. Okay, I'm getting a dry area here. Sometimes it's easier to outline using the bullet tip. There we go. Now I can go in with the brush tip, lay down my color, and I come in with my dark bullet tip, and I'm going to outline part of the hat. Not all of it, but part of it for sure. Just to kind of give it dimension. Going to lay down that a line underneath and above that hat band. For shading, I'm going to come back in with my brush tip and just kind of blend that darker line. And same thing on the bottom. The way I like to think of this is that lighter color is the carrier and allows the dark and the light to blend together. I'm now going to use the pumpkin pie. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to color this band. Believe it or not, we're almost done. So just color the band in with the lighter. I'm going to use the bullet tip of the darker, and where the hat would be wrapping, or where the band would be wrapping around the hat, adding that shading. I'm going to use the brush tip of the light and just grab it from the dark and blend it towards the light. Now I'm ready to punch. So let's see. So there's my hat. No feet on this one. I'm going to use dimensionals to attach it. Before I do though, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the word boo in 2 locations in the Memento Black. Now the boo I am pulling from Cottage Wreaths. This is literally the only word I have for anything Halloween related. So I'm pulling that boo from there. And I'm going to do boo there. And boo here. Putting on 3 dimensionals. Attaching to the tag. Cute. Now I have a spool of ribbon. It is the, I'm looking for the name of it, glittered organdy ribbon in white. So before I forget, I need to put, whoops, some Wink of Stella on this hat band to give it a little bit of glimmer. Cutting a length of ribbon. I did not measure it, but I can tell you that it is probably close to a foot. I'm folding it in half, pushing that folded edge from the front to the back on the tag, bringing the ties from the front, let's see, up through that loop. And just tightening it like that. It gives you a nice little finished front. And then all I did was I took it through, you can take it through both or through just the front. You would put it through both if you were going to try to keep anyone from getting into it too early. But because I haven't put anything in this package yet, I'm only putting it through the front tie, or front handle. There we go. Tied my knot. Got an angled cut, and we're done. Okay, my friends, here we are. Here's our 3 projects. We have a You're My Bestie, we have a gift bag with a tag, and then we have a happy birthday card. I thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all. Please don't forget that today is a 1-day sale only, 15% off on stamps. That we have the September weekly deals going on. And the host code will be located in the description of this video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Big hugs.